Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Amplify Your Business. Today, I'm going to be talking to Matt Hill. He's the program manager of a program called Digital Economy Program. That was a lot of programs, but trust me, this is one that you want to know about, especially if you're in Alberta. So he works with the Business Link, and he's here to share with us a little bit about what this program is all about. So welcome to the show, Matt.
Excellent. Thanks to be here. My second time on, so I feel privileged and lucky.
Well, we're definitely privileged to have you here because when you're coming to us, you've got always some really good insights and information. I think the last one we did was around the importance of business planning and what the Business Link does there to support Alberta businesses on that area. And this time now you're coming with a program that's actually going to help businesses get digital, basically, right?
The Digital Economy Program is absolutely that. It's working with Alberta's smallest businesses, in many cases, mom and pop shops or freelancers, bricks and mortar stores in downtowns across the province. So it's working with them at taking, in some cases, their first steps to being digital or selling online.
Yeah, that's really exciting because there are so many businesses out there that are starting or have a business that they've been running, but they just have never had to really look at the digital side of things. COVID obviously accelerated that need, and now we have a program that's really helping people get to that next step, getting that or first step into the digital side of things. So what kind of things do you help businesses with then through this program?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think COVID was the prompt for this really to kind of take hold, because the things that they needed help with are those that when it comes to doing business online and getting your product or your service to people without being in one-to-one contact, it really prompted that start. So the program really brings people from the simplest things. So if I know of times when our teams have been helping businesses just set up their Google Calendar so they can stay organized and they can, manage their appointments better. Through to, we have a part of the program, it's called the Shop Here powered by Google stream, where essentially a digital advisor is working one-to-one with a business for perhaps up to 15 hours to help them develop an online store on a platform like Shopify or Square, because as user-friendly and as intuitive as these platforms may be to many of us, actually for lots of people, it's still an overwhelming experience. They need that one-to-one, that coach, that support, that person who will kind of keep them going through the program.
Yeah, so very wide range then of types of services that they could be tapping into. And I love the one-on-one in getting people into those online stores. So Shopify is a wonderful one. There's many other ones, like you mentioned. So when they're working with these businesses in that one-to-one, or even in some of the simpler things, like what you mentioned earlier, is there a certain number of hours that are available to them? Is there caps on, the value of the services? How does that work for them?
Yeah, so there's no formal cap. So as long as the business is playing an active role, doing their homework, remaining engaged, still getting benefits, still being involved, they'll continue to be served. But when we get to the point where that business may be ready to go and work with a digital marketing business, or perhaps go and be ready to do some of them themselves, that's the point we're aiming to get them to. Really, it's not like a done for you service. There's no one ready there to, apart from the Shop Here, which really does do the e-commerce store for you. But much of what we do, it really is coaching and working with the business owner for them to be able to do it themselves. We're not, providing an extra employee who's going to be there for you in 6 months' time or a year's time. So you really have to be able to and confident with the things that you're adding into your digital marketing mix. So I have a small team who work directly for me with this, and they'll screen share, they will, go in and maybe provide some examples, set up some templates for the business owner. But ultimately, the business owner is going to have to kind of take some of that initiative themselves. They'll point them in the direction. We both know there's some awesome training out there online, but sometimes it takes kind of we got to pick through it. And some of it's great quality, some of it's really trying to sell us something. And so our team are great at being able to point people in the right direction of the authoritative source, the place where they need to go. So yeah, there are no kind of hard caps to it or no kind of value attached to it. Okay, you've had $2,000 of support, that's it, you're done. It really depends on the needs of your business and also the level of commitment and of the business owner.
Excellent. And so when did this program start and how long is it scheduled to run till then, I guess?
Yeah. And so, well, the shop here, powered by Google Stream, has been operational since kind of late summer last year, so late summer 2021. And up to today, they've worked with, on that stream, they've worked with 1,700 businesses, in that time, which is incredible to hear. And then the digital service squads. So these are more of a hyper-local team. So these are in communities from as small as I think we've got people in 3,000 people communities like Oyen and not Oyen, Hannah, through to we have consultants in Edmonton. So that those teams really have been up and running since January, February of this year. And they've served close to 1,000. Yeah, I looked yesterday and it was just under 1,000 businesses. So lots of people.
Yeah, tons of people going through those programs, which is really exciting to see because I think you align very much with my belief that the backbone of our economy is small businesses. And if we have thriving small businesses, we have a thriving economy, but also we have thriving communities. And so I just love the fact that you guys are getting into all those smaller communities too, because I personally came from an extremely small community in Western Alberta. And so sometimes we get overlooked. And so I really appreciate the fact that you guys are tapping into those communities and really helping those businesses because there's so much potential with rural small businesses as well.
Well, and I'll give an example. On that very point, if I could give an example in Hannah, we have an excellent digital service squad member. And Hannah is a small community, and Hannah is a small community that's had economic challenges of late. You know, some big industry has closed there. And our service squad member there is from the community originally. He's a recent graduate, and the program's enabled him to stay there. There are not many digital marketing jobs going in Hannah. We know that, but perhaps this is the start of him being able to kind of build relationships, build the network, and in time that might actually become he may have an independent business. And he's working with the business that I know he's working with is the car wash there, and doing things as simple but as effective as setting up some awesome photos on their Google My Business, going and doing the 3D photography and making sure that their hours are updated and that they're encouraging reviews and doing those things that will make them visible to everyone passing on Highway 36. I wish I could remember the name of the business, but I can't. But I can't imagine there's many car washes in Hannah. So check it out.
Yeah, totally. That's really exciting stuff. And so in terms of then, how long will this program last? Is there is it done at the end of this calendar year or is that yet to be determined?
So the program is scheduled to run until the end of March 2023. Okay. As with all these things, I think there is lots and lots of benefit to the program and to businesses. So I have a hope that it continues beyond that time. But currently it's March 2023.
Okay, excellent. And so when it comes then to the types of businesses that would be taking advantage of this, it doesn't sound like there's any restrictions there in terms of the industry or whether it's a service or product-based business or anything like that. Is there any limitations in terms of the size? So if you are of a particular size, then you don't qualify. Is there anything like that?
Yeah. So no industry restrictions whatsoever. And even though I've spoken lots about e-commerce, it can be a service-based business, it can be a product-based business. We've seen tremendous success from service providers using some platforms like Shopify that we might not immediately connect or think of as service websites. We've seen them using plugins and add-ons to make that work for them. So in terms of industry, there's no there's no fixed eligibility requirements, but you have to have fewer than 50 employees. So from 0 to 49 employees, you're fine. And the reason I say 0 is they can be solopreneurs. So if you're the only person working the business. Another restriction is that there are no franchise businesses, just because there's an expectation that there's marketing support elsewhere for them. And also they have to be for profit, so no non-profits or charities. It's just yeah.
Yeah. And then the other restriction, obviously, is that this is an Alberta program. But speaking of that, though, this isn't a kind of a unique program in Canada. There are other provinces that have things that are similar as well, that you modeled this after, I believe. Is that correct?
For sure. So our main program partner, who are excellent and have a range of services, are Digital Main Street. And they are actually a brand of a non-profit of the Toronto Association of Business Improvement Areas. So back in 2016, they decided that there was a great need for bricks and mortar businesses to embrace being online and to reach their customers that way. And this is the businesses in improvement areas of Toronto, and they've developed a range of programs since then to serve lots and lots of small businesses. So I know in some province they have micro grant programs. In other ones they have kind of like the Digital Service Squad program that I've described there. So their website, digitalmainstreet.ca, if you go there, you can kind of look at the provinces and see what's being offered across the country.
Yeah, and if you are currently in a province that doesn't have anything quite like this, definitely talk to your politicians, because I think all governments, all levels of government are trying to support small businesses right now and are seeing the need for that and the benefit of having that thriving small business community. And so they might be very open to having something similar happening in your province as well. So throw some support, some requests in there, and you never know what might happen. Now, you also brush up against another program that has a Canadian-wide focus too. And I know you don't manage that program yourself, but would you mind just speaking a little bit into that? I know you're not, intimately involved in it, but it would be good if our audience understood that there was another program Canada-wide.
Definitely, I can definitely point them into the direction of more information as well. Just kind of as we look at this, these government programs really are addressing that need that we saw again at the start of the pandemic there, when I think of small retail businesses, fewer than 50% were online. Fewer than 50% of those businesses had ability to reach people not through their bricks and mortar location. And when we compare that to larger businesses who will be kind of touching 100%, that really demonstrates the need. So yeah, the Canada Digital Adoption Program, and so another program there, and that's definitely one for people to Google, is across the whole of the country. So every single province and territory, people can access this program. And this is has that one-to-one support from youth advisors. A big aim of the program is to get young people on board with and help them develop some digital skills. But another focus of the program is to provide actual funding to small businesses. So up to $2,400. And I'm talking about the Grow Your Business Online stream of the program, up to $2,400 to spend with digital marketing companies or to spend on digital marketing services. And I believe you can even spend a portion of it, I think up to $800, but again, the precise number might be different, on hardware. So if you needed, a part of your plan is you wanted a sales associate to have an iPad on the shop floor, well, that could go towards the cost of an iPad as well. Like I say, it's across Canada, and the easiest way is just to Google Canada Digital Adoption Program. There is another stream, which is Boost Your Business Technology, and that is with the Business Development Bank of Canada, and it's a larger program. So there's a grant of up to $15,000. The threshold for that is a little higher. The eligibility requirements, I believe, you need to have revenues over $500,000. You need to have employees, and so it's slightly different for that. And then there's a loan element to that as well. So I know it sounds like I'm kind of mentioning lots of parts to this. So kind of the government website is definitely the place to go for that.
Yeah, for sure. And being that it's federal, it's available to all Canadian businesses. With some, like you said, that one program, the could have a little bit more restrictions on it, the Boost Your Biz Tech.
And
But
actually, sorry, just important to mention that the $2,400 grant does have some eligibility requirements as well. So you do need to be an employer. For that one, you need to have an employee in your business who's not yourself, not the owner.
okay, so it's not, if you're a solopreneur, it doesn't quite work for you on that. But that's called the Canada Digital Adoption Program. So if anybody's interested in checking that out, just do some Google and you'll be able to find some more information out about that. And this is wonderful. Like, I really appreciate the fact that the government's multiple levels are jumping on board and really supporting all of us small businesses out there. So thank you, Matt, so much for coming on the show today and explaining a couple of the programs that are available, and the one that in particular that you're running. If somebody wanted to, if they were in Alberta and wanted to connect with you to apply to be a part of this program, how would they do so?
Okay, so because the picture is very different across the province, so in some areas we're working with the University of Alberta to deliver the service. In Calgary, it's the City of Calgary, and in Grand Prairie, it's the Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce. We have a kind of central intake. So if you go to dep.businesslink.ca, that's the place to go. Or even if you just Google digital economy program, that's going to funnel you into there as well. So that's a great, and then we kind of direct you to the local support that's right for you.
Excellent. So what's the goal? How many businesses are you hoping to help through this program by the end of, March of 2023?
So we have personal goals and we have organizational goals. I think that the absolute minimum we'd want to do is 5,000 businesses, but I think we can do more. We've got such great teams locally who really understand their local businesses, and they're connecting, they're getting out and going to Chamber of Commerce lunches to speak to business owners. And in some cases, I know in some of our rural communities, they're literally going kind of door to door to get these businesses, even if it's just claiming their Google My Business profile and taking some awesome pictures of their business. That's, they're trying to get them involved in that. So I think 5,000 is a minimum, hopefully a whole lot more.
That's incredible. 5,000 businesses being helped through this program as a minimum. That's just going to make a huge impact on so many small businesses, and the business owners of these who I'd imagine a lot of them are solopreneurs, and a lot of them have just small staff. And so if we can support them any way we can, it's just fantastic to be able to do that. So for those of you who are listening who don't need this or don't qualify for it, I'm sure you know a small business who potentially could. So please pass along the information. So that is a dep.businesslink.ca. That'll get you to the right place. So please pass it along to everybody that you know. And for all of those who are watching today, if you enjoyed this episode and want to check out some of our past episodes where we're interviewing entrepreneurs and talking to experts just like Matt, please check out our archives over at amplifyyourbusiness.ca. You'll see everything there, as well as all the future episodes too. And if you happen to be a small business who has a story to tell and you'd like to be featured on the show, please fill out the application form there so that you could be a future guest on Amplify Your Business. Until next time, everybody, have a prosperous day.